In this video, let's take a look at the unhinged dating culture of the West. Let me also remind you that while a great many people, men and women, are influenced by idiot philosophies, not everybody is insane. The people who are insane are just the loudest in the room.
Another huge female privilege that no one talks about. Ladies, I'm sure you had a good cry recently. Life overwhelmed you for a minute and you had some emotion that you just needed to release. When it was over, you felt great. You took a deep breath and moved on. Men have their own version of this. You see, men don't need a good cry. They need a good angry blow-up. Men have wondered for the longest time why men bottle up their emotions or let anger get the best of them. But this is actually no different from women crying. You express your bottled up emotions with tears. We express ours by yelling at the world for a minute or two. Last I checked, both anger and sadness are very normal human emotions. So for some reason, this very normal and natural expression of anger by men has been labeled as toxic, while your crying has been labeled as healthy expression of emotion. Any man will tell you that getting pissed and blowing off some steam is euphorically beneficial for their mental health. But they fear doing this in front of you, ladies, because they know you won't understand. The disallowing of men to blow off this minor anger that leads to truly dangerous angry men.
That was a lovely bunch of stereotyping that one just did there, but this might come as a complete shock. Not all women break down into tears and cry when they get upset. And not all men blow up with anger. Thanks for listening.
When you're talking to a girl and she says that she does not want children, that is the biggest red flag in the world.
Oh, I don't think that's the biggest red flag here.
Because she is living for herself more than she is for her future offspring.
I feel it's important that I point this part out, but if a woman, or any person for that matter, has decided they're not going to have kids, there won't be any future offspring.
I don't mean the girls that are like, I'd like to delay a few years. I'd like to do it, end of my 20s, early 30s, whatever. I mean women that are like, I'm not having children. There is no bigger red flag.
And just why is that a red flag?
We are all going to pass away and be forgotten. The only thing we contribute to the world is our children.
Really? The only thing? My goodness. Now, don't get me wrong. Having children is an absolute blessing for those of us who are lucky enough to have them. But also, there's nothing wrong with an individual who chooses not to have children, whether that be a man or a woman. But I can't wait to hear what happens when this individual discovers things such as personal legacies and accomplishments, as there have been quite a few people throughout history who have never had children, but indeed have left quite a mark on history.
You can't talk sense into a person who has no sense.
Only thing a man wants from you is access to your body.
Well, that's a rather dismal outlook, but it does kind of let a person know what types of men some individuals tend to interact with.
You cannot believe how many men have asked me this question: what do women really want?
And that's a very good question. I wonder what the answer is.
They're confused by emotional intimacy and true connection.
Ooh, tell us more what one really thinks about men.
They are wild animals. They wake up and they say, let's go find somebody to date. Dating is about finding an F partner.
Probably shouldn't be painting all men with the same brush, but in case one wasn't aware, usually physical intimacy is part eventually of being in a relationship.
I'm starting to believe that men are literally lower conscious. Like they've never felt love before in their life and they don't know how to. All they know is physical pleasures, which they cannot control.
I'm really beginning to think that some women that make these types of statements are actually just demonstrating projection.
That person's idea of what men are is influenced by her own choices of men, and nothing more than that.
How much money is in your guys' bank account?
Let's see how this goes.
I got like 1,200.
Certainly could be worse. Now let's see how much she has.
Like 70K?
Wait, how much?
Yeah.
70K? What you mean 70K?
What do you mean? My dad gave it to me.
Oh, isn't that nice? But let's see why this is relevant.
You made me pay for all this shit and you got 70K in
You're
your
my
bank account?
boyfriend. Why wouldn't you pay for my things?
Wow.
Well, I mean, if you got 70K, I mean, you should be paying for
Yeah,
shit.
but usually the guy's supposed to pay for the things.
This is a serious problem. Like, I'm not even kidding. I paid for
What are
dinner.
you getting mad at me for?
That was $400.
A $400 dinner. And guess what she says next?
You're supposed to pay for my shit.
You got 70K?
You're my boyfriend. You're supposed to pay for my
kidding
shit.
me?
Supposed to pay. Holy entitlement.
Yo, dude, this is actually...
It's not my fault you're broke. How is that my fault?
Well, expecting him to pay for all of your stuff, including $400 dinners, certainly isn't helping.
We're done then.
What do you mean we're done?
Then. We're done then.
If you're gonna fucking scream at me, then leave.
It's just my opinion, but I don't think he was wrong at all for leaving. Can't blame him one little bit.
Some women do think that in the modern world, men should pay for everything, and they should basically just do nothing and exist, and further their own selfish goals. This will have an end very soon.
Seriously? One actually just asked that question? As if that's a question that even needs to be asked. For I think that the answer would be completely obvious. But one asked the question, so here's the answer. In my opinion, if the world was only females, we would in fact have more wars to deal with. Because let's think about it for a minute. In case one hadn't noticed, women tend to have problems in getting along with each other. They tend to find reasons to nitpick, to tear each other down, to be in constant competition. And if one is going to say that that's due to men existing, that women are in competition, one really doesn't know much about human nature. There's always going to be a reason for competition, to be the prettiest, the smartest, the most powerful. But the biggest reason, in my opinion, why we would have more wars if it was only females, is that by and large, for the most part, when a woman has a problem with another woman, she very rarely says it to their face. It's always behind their back, to a group of friends. So that's the reason why I think we would have more wars if the world was only female.
Men that say, have you ever thought maybe you're the problem? Have you ever shut the fuck up?
Oh, goody. Copious amounts of swearing to help drive the point home. That always helps in these kind of situations.
Have you ever thought that maybe you're the problem?
I wonder if the constant yelling could be a bit of a problem.
Did you know, sir, that if all men were fucking obliterated right fucking now,
Oh, here we go.
that women would feel so much safer and so much happier on Earth?
Now, if every single woman agreed with that, that would mean something. However, this is yet another reminder of why a person should only speak for themselves and not an entire demographic.
Did you ever stop to think that maybe being emotionally unavailable is the fucking problem?
Emotionally unavailable versus emotionally unstable. I think I know which one I'd prefer.
Maybe try not being such a fucking bitch all the time!
And yet the voice of experience speaks yet again.
I am so tired of giving chances, putting men on fucking pedestals just to be stomped on underneath said pedestal that I put you on because you really ain't shit!
If a person keeps encountering the same problem over and over again, likely it has less to do with the choice available and more likely to do with the person making the choices.
And I can't stress this enough! You're all fucking roaches!
My friends gave me permission to make a Hinge account for him.
And why is that?
Because I was telling him how easy dating is with dating apps. And he was telling me that it's incredibly difficult. And I was like, Pete, you must be doing something wrong. And he gave me permission to create an account for him and just run the account.
And how is it going so far, being a guy on a dating app?
I've been a virtual boy for 3 days. And I've never felt this bad about myself. I feel like a freaking loser trying to get these girls to like me. And I'm starting to hate women.
Oh dear, it doesn't sound like it's going very well at all, but let's hear what's going on.
Pete's about a 6. But I'm so desperate, I'm liking the 2s and the 3s, and even they won't like me back, Pete, which is a 6.
Gee, I wonder what could be going on here.
So what level of delusion has entered women's heads? Like, what is going on? It is so difficult dating as a boy. I hate it. I'm on day 3 of being a boy, and I hate women, and I'm more depressed than ever.
That is truly unfortunate, and I am genuinely sorry to hear that. But in my opinion, this is just a reflection of the times that we are currently living in, which so many people, in this case, a great many women, are very heavily influenced every single day by what they see on social media, that they are absolutely convinced that they all should be going for the same group of men, the ones that are considered to be 10s by most of society. And unfortunately, they are missing out on a lot of great opportunities, because just because a guy doesn't look like a 10 doesn't mean that he might not be an actual 10 in regards to what type of person he is and his personality. What a truly charming statement. I will preface this by saying that I absolutely do understand that this is not a reflection or representation of the feelings of all of those on the left, nor, might I add, does it represent all men. However, it is honestly not a good look for either. Because does one not understand that this is the type of statement that is most often remembered the longest and in fact resonate the loudest? So what exactly was the entire purpose of leaving this statement on my page? Was it just pure shock factor? Or in fact is one trying to scare me into silence? Which is unfortunate in either case, because it is rather indicative of the fact that one seems to be unwilling or unable to engage in any kind of meaningful conversation or dialogue in regards to any subject matter, in this case seemingly for a political ideology that one happens to be in disagreement with. In future, do try to do better, because remember, statements like these tend to stick in people's minds, and that is not the type of representation that I believe individuals on the left nor men want to have in their cases.
Cheat for $100?
Ah, yes. Who can guess the answer to that question?
Would I cheat from? Alright, probably, yeah.
Seriously.
You're for real? I'm being for real. Why? I mean, it's $100. It's $100.
$100. I guess some individuals really can put a price on loyalty.
Cheat? To cheat? Dude, you're not marrying the guy. How do you know? You're not marrying him. Obviously, if you want to cheat, that means you're not marrying him.
If a person wants to cheat, perhaps they shouldn't be with that person in the first place. Better to leave than be a cheater.
No. I think loyalty so. Over everything.
I happen to agree with their friend.
Okay, thanks.
You want to cheat then?
Should I? Right now?
Yeah.
First guy, pick him out. No, you can't do that. Do you want to? I'm being for real.
But if this isn't actually staged, then our future generations are possibly in a lot of trouble if there's individuals that think like this and think it's okay.
Not everybody is like this. Not all women are like this. Rest assured.
Boys need to understand one thing.
And what's that?
If your girl's not stalking you, then your girl does not love you, my friend.
What? No, I'm sorry, that type of behavior is toxic and should be avoided at all costs. That's actually called obsession. Run.
Your girl stalking you is the highest achievement that you can have as a male.
What an achievement that would be. Attracting someone who is obviously rather unhinged. Oh my goodness. Something to be proud of indeed.
If she's not monitoring your every move, then she really doesn't give a shit about you.
Please tell me that this is some form of satire.
When your girl stops stalking you, it's all over for you, my friend.
Yeah, no. While this may have meant to be a joke, do remember that there are individuals out there that will actually take this type of stuff seriously and actually believe that obsessive stalking type behavior is somehow equivalent to a person loving them. Remember, that is not healthy behavior and should be avoided at all costs.
All women love toxic men. I repeat, all women love toxic men.
No, in fact, we don't.
And if they fucking say they don't, they're lying.
Oh, okay. And why is that?
No woman wants a man that is a yes man. No woman wants a man that they can walk all over. No woman wants a man that's like a fucking sassy man.
Oh, wait, now it's making sense. They don't actually understand what a toxic man really is. Got it.
No, us women want a man that we can submit to. Okay? We love the roller coaster of emotions. We love the ups and downs. We love the fucking breakup to make up.
Yes. Wonderful.
Any man that's their number one requirement for a woman is
Oh, let's hear what this is about.
for a woman to be his piece. You just know you're dealing with a true fucking menace to the dating pool.
All because he wants peace in a relationship. He's a menace to the dating pool? Oh, goodness.
Because what the fuck do you mean you need me to be your piece?
What does it really sound like? It sounds like the guy wants his partner to bring peace to his life, not to bring problems. I didn't think it was that complicated.
If you gotta ask for peace, you're a piece of shit. Honestly.
What? Why would a person say such a thing? Could it be that individuals with this particular mindset actually do understand how priceless it is for a person to be able to bring peace to another in a relationship? Because at the end of the day, all they have to offer, all they can indeed bring to the table, is chaos with drama. Excuse me, but I do have a question about this particular comment. And that question is, what exactly was the point of leaving it? If I were to wager a guess, I would say that one was trying to hurt my feelings. Trying to hurt my feelings possibly so badly that I either stop making content altogether, or shift my content so as to appeal to possibly a different audience, thinking that possibly then I will get less disparaging remarks on my page. But I would like to take this moment as an opportunity to remind everyone out there that does make content, that no matter what type of content you make, whether it be controversial or whether it be amiable, there will always be individuals out there that find ways to either get offended or disagree with it. And oftentimes they will just leave disparaging remarks. But as I've said before, and I will probably have to say again, that only says something about the person that makes the remark, and nothing about the person that it's made towards. So with that, don't let remarks like this get you down. Because there are, after all, just a dime a dozen.
We just love the toxic shit.
Why do so many individuals take it upon themselves to speak for an entire group of people? I'll never understand that.
If you were to go to like a fucking sassy man's fucking comments on TikTok, they'll be like, oh my god, they're so cute, oh my god. If you go to a man's page that's like promoting toxicity and you go through the comments, these women are fucking living for it. They're like, yo, ruin my fucking life.
And there's something fundamentally wrong with those individuals.
We want a man that's toxic. We want a man to ruin our fucking lives. Like, make us think as to why, like, we're fucking alive and breathing, okay?
And I can only imagine the amount of people that actually find this type of narrative insulting, as they have actually survived very toxic relationships, and there are some individuals out there actually glamorizing toxic people.
So it's just like, men, don't be the good guy. Just be that toxic motherfucker that you are, because we love that shit.
At this point, I think this would be a good time to remind everyone that be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.
Height matters. Of course it does.
Well, everyone has their preferences, but I really don't think they appreciated this next part.
Step on the scale.
I'm not going on a scale. You should love a girl for who they are.
You should love a guy for who they are, regardless of height.
That's true.
Right, that is true. But wait.
So take it back.
I'm not taking it back.
Step on the scale.
No.
You're being a coward.
Wait, you're ridiculous.
Hold on. By this logic, it's not okay to care what your partner's weight is, but it's absolutely acceptable to care how tall they are. What?
You don't need to know an exact number.
You don't need to know an exact height.
All you gotta know is that they're taller than me, and that's it.
Okay, I want you to be lighter than me. Step on the scale.
No.
It's almost too funny, isn't it? The fact that in society it's highly encouraged for women to have strict dating standards in regards to what the men they choose to date look like. But it's often frowned upon if men have standards in regards to what the women that they choose to date physically look like.
How are some of y'all going around living life not caring what people think about you?
Actually, quite easily.
Like, truly tell me how you do it. How are you not bothered when people don't like you for no reason or are mean to you for no reason?
In regards to those individuals' opinions, allow me to ask a question about that. Do they fall into any of the categories that I call the 3 Fs? Are they feeding me, financing me, or am I in an intimate relationship with any of them? If not, don't have to pay their opinions any mind.
The advice that I always get is like, well, just don't let it bother you. Which to me sounds like if somebody punches you in the face, just like, don't feel it. I can't turn off the way I feel. I can't turn off my emotions.
It's not about turning off how a person feels. It's about prioritizing whose opinions actually should matter.
Are y'all telling the truth? Do you really not care, or is there something wrong with me?
Well, the best piece of advice I ever heard on this subject was, you wouldn't worry so much about what people thought about you if you realized how little they actually did.
Those men do not understand women, so I'm going to break it down for you. Those men do not understand women, so I'm going to break it down for you. What we say versus what we actually mean.
That age-old problem again. What did she really mean when she said that? Let's hear a couple of examples.
If we say, if you want to, it really means we don't want to. She's ignoring you or keeping her distance. She's mad at you.
There is a so much easier way to go about communicating. But let's hear some more.
When we send you something on Instagram, TikTok, message, whatever it may be, if we're sending it to you, if it's a restaurant, an activity, we want to do that. But if we say, no, it's okay, you don't have to, please do it. What we mean is we would really love if you do it, but we don't want to feel like an inconvenience or a burden to you.
Okay, I believe we've heard enough. The simplest solution to all of this would be for some women to stop playing these verbal games and just be upfront and honest about what you want. And if you do that, you'd be surprised how often you actually get it.
Men don't see women as humans. What does it mean when I say that?
It means that one is generalizing and is about to make a bunch of statements that is based on absolutely no factual information whatsoever and just a lot of opinions.
I use this phrase a lot in my feminist work, and people can really get their backs up about it.
Gee, I can't imagine why.
What I mean is, men don't perceive or believe women to be as fully human as they believe men to be.
And what precisely is the information that one is basing this little theory on?
Men are taught not to see women as fully fledged humans with thoughts, feelings, ambitions, goals, and experiences that are not defined by men or men's perceptions or desires.
Fascinating. Let's hear more.
Boys are trained from a young age to believe that girls are not as smart as them, not as funny, not as complex, not as interesting, and certainly not unique. Men are conditioned to see women as facilitators of both their professional and their domestic success, and enablers of their reproductive aspirations.
Precisely what time period is one conducting one's research in? Because it doesn't sound like the current era.
Men are conditioned to dismiss women's opinions, if they even listen to those opinions at all, but they are also taught not to listen.
Who exactly is responsible for doing this conditioning? Because I wonder if one took into consideration that there's a lot of single mothers out there raising boys to become men.
They are trained not to believe women's own account of their lived experience and what happens to them. Men don't see women as fully human as they themselves are. It's not really that complicated.
And it's not really that true either, but I suppose in a pinch any biased little narrative will do in order to try to keep pushing the idea that men don't view women as human. But I really wonder what the agenda is here in generalizing men in such a way. Is it just to convince women that men don't actually like them?
Be reminded that not everybody is insane.
I don't like 50-50. I don't do coffee dates. I don't care how much money I ever make. I still want my man to pay for everything.
Now that could be taken to mean that one doesn't actually have any interest in having a relationship. One just seems to want an ATM.
He should pick me up. He should drop me off. He should buy me Ubers.
Okay, so what does he get in exchange for all of this?
In exchange, he gets to not embarrass me and breathe my air. I think it's pretty fair. I think we're even Stevens.
So a man gets the honor and privilege of paying for absolutely everything, and he gets the honor of just basking in one's presence. Right.
Otherwise, I don't need a man, just have a man.
Thanks for revealing the true motivation that one actually has for wanting a man. It's not for companionship, it's for financial gain.
This is for me.
I'm sure we're all very shocked to hear that.
For the guys who are mad, though, cry about it.
I think we can safely save the tissues for another day on that one, as I cannot see a large number of men crying over a missed opportunity like that, to be instead of someone's partner, to be someone's walking bank account.
It is truly deplorable that it has come down to this.
If you disagree with trans women using female bathrooms,
Because you're terrified that a man's going to dress up as a woman and attack a woman? Your issue's not with trans women. Your issue is with straight, cis, predatory men. Why don't you focus on them?
Wow. It really goes to show that if a person misses the point by just the breadth of a hair, it really is the same as missing it by the width of a mile. So the point that one so conveniently missed out on is not that it is trans women using the restrooms. No, that has nothing to do with it. The fact is that people have a problem with males invading female spaces. Because, like it or not, there are some males that will use any excuse to invade a female space for nefarious reasons. And that is just reality. So, the point that one missed is that it should be paramount to protect women, to protect females in their own spaces. But some individuals are more concerned with not appearing to be transphobic than they actually are with addressing the real issues.
Normalize fucking hating your husband. Like, for real.
Hating? My goodness, are we trying to normalize hating a spouse now? Could be considered racist today. Well, let's find out.
Why do we think this is stylish, but this is kitsch? This is elegant, but this is tacky. The rules of what constitutes good and bad taste are not God-given, and the minimalism aesthetic has been dominating. But the more I look into it, the more I wonder, is minimalism racist?
Indeed. Now how someone chooses to decorate their house is rooted in racism.
The man behind minimalism certainly was. Le Corbusier was an extremely influential architect, product designer, and town planner. He was also a proven fascist. Is it any surprise that an aesthetic that calls for simple, clean lines was embraced by capitalists?
Yeah. A person really cannot make this kind of stuff up.
As it's perfect for mass production, here is an advert from IKEA telling us literally to chuck our chins in Indian-inspired textile. And in times when house prices are sky high, is it any surprise that we embrace an aesthetic that essentially turned our homes into commodities in order to get the highest resale value? Chintz is too personal. Magnolia means your house is always ready to go on the market. Minimalism definitely needs to be questioned. It's worrying to think that the racism and bias that we fight so hard against in our outside lives might have crept into our homes.
So the takeaway from this is, if a person is a minimalist in their home decor, they might be a racist? Right.
A reminder that unless someone tells you their gender, you literally have no way of telling.
Literally no way of telling, huh? Well, that's not very accurate at all. Especially considering in the United States, the majority of people that were surveyed do not actually subscribe to the idea that there are multiple genders. So by and large, the average person is going to look like the gender that they actually are, which aligns with their biology. But then there's this.
And yes, that includes your own children.
Oh, goody. Bringing kids into the conversation.
I don't care how young they are.
Don't care how young they are. Really. That speaks volumes. Because I have to ask, did one really think this through? Precisely at what age should a parent take a child seriously in regards to how they choose to identify? If the child chooses to identify as a dinosaur, for instance, is that parent then supposed to engage in a complex conversation about the differences between biology and gender? Or should we just let kids be kids?
Ah, yes. Wonderful.
Leave women alone.
But men are already doing that. Or hasn't one noticed? But I find it odd that some women want men to leave women alone, except when they need their support in something. And then they complain, why aren't the men speaking up?
Stop telling us what to do with our hair.
Frankly, I cannot remember the last time a man told me what to do with my hair. In my experience, it's almost always some of the women who are so concerned with what other women look like.
Stop telling us what to do with our bodies.
Like what? Don't rack up a high body count because a great many men and women find a high body count rather unappealing. How dare some men tell women to pay attention to their own morality?
Stop telling us how to dress.
Really? From what I've seen, some women should be told that what they're wearing is often inappropriate.
Leave us alone.
And when they finally do, what then will one have to complain about?
I have zero shame in telling a man that after 3 months you are paying my bills. And if you're not, bye-bye.
Oh, I can hear the hearts just breaking from here.
There's 7 billion people in the world. If you can't do it, somebody else will. So I have no shame. I'm kind of sort of trying to find somebody to bring me food every once in a while. Like, talking to a guy and I said, yeah, after 3 months you pay my bills. And he said, no.
That's not surprising at all, because it sounds like that man actually has some self-respect.
Like, a guy knows, like, oh, if I really like her and she's not crazy, yeah, I would pay her bills. Maybe I threw it out there too soon.
Maybe you just shouldn't have thrown it out there at all.
Men don't understand the investment and the benefit and how we're trying to make sure that we're not getting played. I can't help you, men. Don't talk to us. You're not the one. We're not talking to brokies.
Fortunately, not all women think like this, but unfortunately, it is the ones that do that tend to speak the loudest, and are the main reason that a lot of men are choosing to remain happily single.
Women. Despite popular belief on Reddit, I love women. And despite popular belief on 4chan, I am a woman. And as I am filming this, it is currently International Women's Day. So happy International Women's Day to all 7.3 of you. We've talked quite a bit about male loneliness on this channel, but we haven't really touched on female loneliness, which, although technically not as severe yet, is unfortunately a real and rapidly growing trend. The modern world does not seem to have a solution to this. All modern dating advice is just garbage. The future seems bleak, so maybe we have to look in the past. In this video, we're going to talk a bit about modern female loneliness, and then we're going to have some fun looking at some dating advice from the 1950s to see if we can find a solution there. Because what worked for our grandmothers surely will work for us, right? Back in the day when people would still go to malt shops and diners instead of femboy hooters. Apparently, single women spend more than the average family on travel, shopping, makeup, skincare, etc. So of course, some economists will twist this into a positive thing. But I'm not an economist. I'm your average, humble, working class American YouTuber, slaving over a hot laptop, producing absolutely nothing of value to society. And I don't think this is a good thing. I think this is proof things are going very wrong. And if you look at the stats about how so many women are on antidepressants and how the female suicide rate has been increasing, there may be a connection here. Friendship, family, and sexual intimacy are a big part of the hierarchy of needs. And I don't think women are happier being alone and single. I just think women might be better at coping with being alone and single. At least for a little while.
I just had like the craziest, saddest thought. I'm in a stage of life where I'm watching all my friends get married and have babies.
When you talk about the subject, a lot of men will point out that these women could easily get any man to sleep with. And I'm sure they know that. But sex isn't the only thing people are looking for. As I said in the male loneliness video, it would be relatively easy for a lot of these incels to just get laid, hire a hooker, and it would take the average woman like 5 minutes to find a man to sleep with. Just walk the f outside. But casual sex isn't the solution to loneliness. It's a band-aid. It's a way to fill your void with cum. Trying to find someone to love, to marry, to have a family with nowadays, it is incredibly difficult for both genders in this climate today. And it seems like nowadays the only acceptable way to do so is to swipe right. We live in an increasingly atomized, lonely society thanks to a nasty combination of social media, technology, hookup culture, lack of community, lack of friends, lack of purpose, lack of money, late-stage capitalism, neoliberalism, and so many other things. And men are being told to, well, nothing. You're on your own. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It's your fault. You built the world after all, and are increasingly turning to the few people who at least pretend to give a shit, who just wind up selling them poison that ultimately hurts them in the end. Like hollow materialism, eternal one-night stands, and vasectomies. Yeah, in case you were wondering, that's what the red pill has been up to. Telling their audience to just forget marriage and neuter themselves. While women, in turn, are also being sold very similar poison. About how it's good to be single, it's empowering. You don't need no man. Get on the pill, sleep around, climb the corporate ladder, and don't worry baby, we'll freeze your eggs for you. But is this good advice for women? Or have we girl bossed a little too close to the sun? A study on date psychology recently revealed that 48% of men 26 to 40 years old have not approached women in the past year, and 60% of men aged 18 to 25 said they haven't. In the entire dataset, 30% of men said they never approached a woman in person before. Ever. This also might be because, like I said, everything that isn't swiping right on a dating app nowadays is considered creepy. Don't approach women at the bar, don't approach women at the gym, don't approach women at coffee shops, don't approach women at work, don't approach women at the mall, don't approach women. We live in HR world, and it turns out a lot of women don't like HR world. Every time I see videos of women crying about not being approached by men or being lonely, the comments and replies are always full of men like, "Enjoy your cats. This is what you asked for. This is the world you wanted, ladies." But was it? Not every woman is the blue-haired, man-hating feminist stereotype that you have in your mind. A lot of them want the same exact world you do. What you have to understand is society in the media is basically like her fat, ugly, drunk friend at the bar cock-blocking you from talking to her. Excuse me? She's not interested. Even though chances are, she might be. According to the same study on date psychology, 77% of women aged 18 to 30 want to be approached more. So if men are lonely and women are lonely, but men are too afraid to approach women nowadays, there's only one thing we can do, ladies. We must approach them. So I did a little research and looked up how to approach men as a woman. Number 1, don't. Almost every single article, blog post, tweet thread, giving advice to women on how to get a man said some shit like, "Don't chase him, let him chase you. Be unavailable and mysterious. Simply pretend he doesn't exist." Great. Awesome. Almost every single bit of dating advice I found amounted to, let them come to us. But
A single mom or someone who's just chosen to never marry, and it's because they feel threatened.
Somehow I doubt that.
The more women who take that route, the less women there will be available to them. And they're afraid of other women looking at those women who are single and being like, "Oh, like she's actually pretty happy and satisfied," and then following suit.
That's an interesting theory. I'll give one that.
So they make fun of them and try to paint them in a bad light so that doesn't happen.
That doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
And the reason men want a larger dating pool is not because they actually like women and want to find like their soulmate or someone they love they want to share their life with.
Oh, okay. So what is the reason?
They're afraid of being alone. Well, they are afraid of being alone.
Some perhaps, but a large amount of men are actually perfectly happy being single.
But it's because they don't know how to do things for themselves. They want a wife because they want someone to cook and clean for them and take care of everything and basically be their mother who they can also sleep with.
That's actually not what most men want, but by all means, go on with that narrative.
Nothing makes a man angrier than seeing an older woman who is single and happy. Before men come in my comments like, I am married. I am married to a man. But if you don't want to be alone forever, you're just going to have to step up because women are finally standing up for themselves and asking for more. And that more is what they've always deserved.
Granted, there are some men out there that do seem to enjoy making fun of women that are single. However, whether right or wrong, a lot of those women tend to make it a little bit too easy to do. But I digress. But do bear in mind that there are quite a few men out there that are actually choosing the peace of being single for a lot of the same reasons that women are. But I guess if one is going to worry about men making fun of women that are going to remain single, then I suppose one should keep that same energy for women that make fun of men for doing the very same thing.
More video about a man not excited to peel an orange for his beautiful girlfriend. I'm gonna lose it.
Oh, goody. The orange peel thing.
What is going on with these men? I'm on Orange Peel Theory TikTok, and I have seen so many videos of these men not even being the bare minimum for their women.
Ah, yes, the bare minimum. That thing which is constantly being mentioned is always changing, and oddly enough, no one can ever seem to pin down exactly what that means.
It's basically like a test that you put your boyfriend up to see if he really cares about you.
Yes, those tests are becoming increasingly popular, aren't they? But I have to wonder, if a group of seemingly equally insecure men started coming up with tests to have their girlfriends or wives do to prove how much they really care about them, would those tests still be as popular as they are?
I'm lucky enough that I don't think I need to do that test. Not that your boyfriend needs to do everything for you, but if something's important to you, he should definitely acknowledge that and want to do it for you.
Does that apply to everything?
So if your man is hostile about you asking him to peel an orange for you, you need to literally run in the opposite direction because you deserve way better.
I refer back to my initial question. I wonder exactly how well it will go over when some men start acting in the same way that some women are, offering their partners some petty little test in order to be able to prove their devotion and how much they truly care about them. And then if they don't pass the test, I guess men will just start encouraging each other to run the other direction.
A guy that made $200K. Like a year? Yeah.
$200K a year. That's a very respectable amount of money. I wonder what their answer will be.
No, what the? Are you serious? You don't think 200K is a lot? No.
No. Oh, I can't wait to hear what their very, I'm sure, reasonable expectations are.
I want a guy that makes 200K a month.
What?
Okay, I mean, yeah, that's pretty good. Would you? I mean, like, 200K is like a lot of money. Like, my dad makes 200K.
Oh, but it gets better.
That's like your hardworking dad. Like, we live in a whole different generation. That's true. It's easy to make money now. Yeah, clearly.
It's easy to make money now, is it? That will come as a complete shock to a great many people in this country that are struggling to get by and living paycheck to paycheck every single day.
Look how much money we have and what do we do? Yeah.
One can only guess.
I want a guy that makes more money than me. Like, what? Yeah.
I think now would be the appropriate time to ask, what exactly does one bring to the table that actually makes one think that one deserves a man that makes $200K a month?
Is a guy would have to be a fucking weirdo to not want to spend New Year's Eve with me. Like,
something tells me the reason has little to nothing to do with the dress.
you don't want to walk in with me dressed like this on New Year's Eve? You don't want to kiss me at midnight?
No, with that charming personality, I can't imagine why they aren't lining up.
It's giving weirdo energy. You're a fucking weirdo for that.
Well then, after seeing that, it's probably no small wonder to a great many people why the gentleman in question most likely chose one of more two peaceful options for New Year's Eve. Either he decided to spend the night peacefully and quietly at home, or decided to celebrate and bring in the new year with his male friends. Because, after all, there is something to be said for being able to enjoy the company that one keeps. And just because someone looks good in a dress doesn't mean that their company is conducive to actually enjoying the evening.
This doesn't end up on the wrong side of TikTok.
Oh, I think it ended up exactly where it belongs.
A controversial opinion, I strongly believe that women who hate men can still be in happy, healthy relationships.
Well, that's certainly some kind of opinion.
I do not believe that men who hate women can be in happy, healthy relationships.
Let's bring a little logic into this conversation, shall we? Now, if a person has a severe dislike or aversion to an entire group of people, that usually means that that carries over to each individual of that group. So I am curious, what exactly are the criteria that would need to be met for an individual to be able to overcome their own prejudice and bias against any member of that group in order for them to be in a healthy, happy relationship? But also take into consideration that the definition of what considered to be a healthy, happy relationship can vary from individual to individual. So I look forward to hearing the explanation of how one doesn't think that this can be true for men, but yet one thinks that it's true for women. This ought to be a good one.
How much money does a guy need to make in order to be with you?
I'm sure that it will be a reasonable amount, as they seem like a very down-to-earth person.
Way over 5 mil.
I'm sorry, how much? Was that per year?
Over 5 million?
Yes.
Per year?
Yes.
Why?
Yes, why? That is a very valid question. Why would a man have to make over $5 million a year just to have a chance of dating someone?
Why?
Because that's how much... Never mind.
Who caught that? Shall we listen to that again?
Why?
Because that's how much... Never mind.
So over $5 million a year in order to be with you?
Yes.
And this is one of the many reasons I think that good women are actually having problems finding good men. Because guys are honestly being inundated with this type of thing all of the time. Because some women out there think that they are worth a partner that makes over $5 million a year just because they're young and pretty. I wonder how that's going to work when age finally catches up to them.
I was supposed to hang out with this guy, but it was getting kind of late, so I texted him and I was like, hey, it's kind of late, like maybe we should just like rain check.
Okay, rain check, no big deal, right?
And he responded saying, okay, sounds good.
Sounds good, but I'm sure this is not the end of the story.
Excuse me?
And here it comes.
And I was like, what, LOL? And he's like, you proposed to reschedule, like it's a bit late for you, said I was like respecting your boundaries and like, yeah, we can meet up another time.
Wonderful. A guy is respecting her boundaries. But there's more.
And I was like, you think you're funny? You're supposed to respond saying, no, I need to see you. I'm outside. Your doorman's blocking the door. Like, what?
Oh, I get it now. There's games apparently to be played, and one seems upset that the guy is not playing along.
He was like, wait, why are you mad that I was just like listening and like respecting what you wanted? And I was like, exactly.
Exactly what? Respecting boundaries is apparently a bad thing now? I'm beginning to believe that some women are single-handedly trying to convince the entire male population that in fact they are better off single. Because if you want to play games, ladies, play by yourself.
Protected from emotional abuse the same way women are protected from physical abuse?
That is a very good question. Let's hear their answer.
Because men are idiots.
Really? Oh, okay. Let's hear more.
Emotional is worse? No. Emotional is worse than physical.
It is.
Okay, considering that statement, what could be the next possible logical question?
So then if emotional is worse than physical,
Yes, so
wouldn't
men-
men deserve protection more than women?
They would. They should.
Agreed. Men should absolutely be afforded the same levels of protection that women are when it comes to forms of abuse. But let's hear someone's opinion in regards to why men are not getting those levels of protection.
But they're not smart enough to fight for it.
Really? Sadly, that is not an uncommon thought process when it comes to this particular subject, and it is unfortunate that this is being perpetuated. Unfortunately, a lot of men have been shamed into thinking that they would be considered weak if they seek help. That is not the case. Remember, no person deserves to be abused, whether it's emotional or physical. Please seek help if you need it.
I know that men are literally dogs.
Literally. And that's opposed to figuratively.
Because a woman will be with a man for 5, 6, 7, sometimes even 10 years, begging for this man to put a ring on it. And
The question that should be being asked here is, first of all, why is she hanging around that long for a man that obviously isn't going to propose? Not to mention, she could have proposed herself. But all in all, it's just showing a lack of self-esteem.
and he goes, no, like, I'm just not ready. I'm not ready. She goes,
No, it wasn't that he wasn't ready, per se. It's that he wasn't ready to marry her.
you know what? F off. I'm giving you the ultimatum. You either marry me or we break things off. Majority of the time, men will go, you know what? We're just going to break things off then. And within 1 year, a single year, this man will be engaged to another woman.
Like I said, and I'll say it again, he just wasn't ready to marry her. So pay attention, ladies. Most men know very early on in the stages of a relationship if they actually want to marry the woman that they're dating. So don't sit around waiting for years and begging for a man to marry you that has already made up his mind a long time ago that he doesn't want to.
You said you're a water sign, right? Sorry, it's fine. You're welcome. Wait, I got it.
The video just goes on and on, like her paying for stuff, filling up his gas tank for him, just making a complete mockery of men really just asking for some decency and respect. Please stop comparing me to your ex. Please stop talking about my body. And for fuck's sakes, please leave my penis out of the topic of conversation. Wow, men are they're just in such a soft girl era right now. Like, no man would feel comfortable getting a bouquet that big from his lady, but like, yeah, you guys have been together for a while. Give that man a damn flower. Goddamn. Most men won't receive flowers till the day they die. At their funeral, motherfuckers. And just want women who aren't constantly in the group chat with their girlfriends saying shit like, now this guy's dick game is so weak, Darnell's was just way better. They want you to stop saying shit like, don't worry, honey, you can trust me. Then after he gets vulnerable and tells you his deepest, darkest secrets, y'all break up and you're on social media like, Chris has mommy issues and he wants to be the little spoon. Men want fucking decency. Respect. They don't want to be valued based off of what's in their sweatpants or in their wallet. It's not fucking hard, man. Neither are these men's dicks. You'll want to wonder why there's no ring on your finger and why he doesn't write you poems and why men don't write love songs for women anymore? Huh? It's because y'all are hoes. There ain't nobody worth writing a love song for, putting a ring on her finger for. Y'all treat men like disposable walking garbage bags, and I'm fucking sick of it, man. Just treat them with some respect. Damn! Oh, no dick. Thank you. Modern women have upped their expectations for men, but have simply lowered their expectations for themselves, almost to an abysmal amount, where women feel super comfortable walking around demanding everything and anything from men, but have the worst stank-ass attitude whenever a man dares suggest that she has to bring something in return.
You guys are all fun. I think you're going to make a super fun wife someday, and like a super based wife. I wish the dudes that marry you guys good luck. You guys are very strong, independent women, and like I feel like you're going to give your guy a lot to wrestle with.
I think you're incredibly rude, and you have a small dick.
Holy
100%. I can tell by what you're giving off. I already know I'm going to have a very great relationship. Who I'm with, they will put up with me, and they will, respect. They'll respect me as a person. I mean, like, sure, you want a holy girl that's gonna like fuck you like what, once or twice a week, and you're gonna be happy about that? Like, no, sorry, but I'm gonna have
sex
some
way
more
more than
spice
that.
than you will ever get in your life.
It's the fact that you even had to say he will put up with me.
He'll put up with
Like that's
Gentlemen, you do not want a relationship where you are just merely putting up with the woman, and that itself just shows how much little respect she has for herself, which is probably why he's saying that whoever the fuck marries her, she's gonna give a run for his money, because
Hi, I'm Kiko. I'm 23. I go to UCSB, and I also bartend.
My name is Optimus Prime. We are autonomous robotic organisms from the planet Cybertron.
Just have some things that I would like to say, and it's not so good, okay? These modern women need to mind their own damn business. You know, they're always in your faces. They claim they don't like men, but they're always in your faces, and they're always a distraction with that nasty attitude. They need to mind their own damn business. This is why, women, I'm telling you something. This is why men no longer want anything to do with you. First of all, you're ungrateful. You have a nasty ass attitude. You don't like men. You don't need men. But you know something? Let society collapse. All of you bitches are gonna be in for a big ass surprise. Turn on the news, see what's going on. Let society collapse, and we'll see if you don't need a man. These men are out here busting their asses every day while you're on social media showing your ass, showing your tits and everything for men. But let society collapse, and you see who you're gonna need. You're gonna need men. No lights are going to be on for you. The same men you diss about driving trucks and you're bashing them for what type of job that they have. You're going to need them. What's going to happen when your car is on E? It's always on E anyway. You think you're going to get to the gas station? What if there's no gas there when society collapses? Do you even know how gas gets to the gas station? From a man who drives a truck. But do you tell him thank you? No, you want to bash him because of the type of work that he does. What are you going to do when that happens? You're going to run down the street to your little girlfriends and call on your sisterhood? No, they're too busy trying to unclog their toilets because they don't like plumbers. Remember, society has collapsed. There's no more men. She's too busy trying to figure out how to plunge her toilet without a plunger. So is she going to help you? No. When there's no more baby formula for all you mothers with all these kids running around for different men, when there's no more baby formula, what are you going to do? Remember, the truck driver has to deliver that to the grocery stores. What are you going to do? You know what you're going to have to do? Pull out your you-know-what that the Creator gave you, and nurse your babies that way, the natural way. Do it the natural way. I want all you women to go to the zoo. You need to visit a zoo without your kids. No, I want you to go. Take a field trip to the zoo. Because animals have more sense than you do. Go to the zoo. Just stand around, watch the monkeys, the apes, whatever you want to do. But particularly, Watch the mothers and see how they treat their young. They treat their young better than you do. You women are something else. You're awful. You're evil. You're trifling. And you're always in everybody else's businesses because you don't have a life. You don't want nobody else to have a life. You don't even want men to be happy. You get rid of men. That's what you do. You go with this one, that one, this one, that one, this one, that one. No one's never good enough for you. Sleeping around with all these different men, taking on all different kind of energies. That's why your minds are so screwed up. Not only are you laying with men, you're laying with different energies, and those different energies stays with you. But that goes to show you where your mind is. It's only about that. You know nothing else but that. That's all you know. Learn some damn sense. Back to society now. What's going to happen when the grid goes down? Like I said, are you going to call on your sisterhood? No, you can't do that. She's not going to help you. Sisterhoods have, you've really destroyed brotherhoods. Even with all the jobs that you have. A man can be on a good job, have his good buddies with him. Let one of you walk in with that job that you shouldn't be working at, a man's job anyway. But when you do, you destroy everything because you want to sleep with each and every one of them. Those men have been good friends forever. Let a woman come in. She'll destroy you guys. She'll destroy everything. So yes, sisterhoods destroy brotherhoods. There's no more brotherhoods because of you all. Learn some damn sense. Learn some sense, ladies. I keep saying this, but I know you're not going to do it because you're too dumb to do it. You have all that negative energy. You want to hold on to that negative energy. You don't want to learn no damn sense. You know, I was in the grocery store the other day, guys. You women, you want to talk about these uppity jobs that you have. You're making all this money and all this crap that you talk about. I don't give a damn about what kind of job you have. I was in the grocery store. And what I always do when I'm in the grocery store, if I have a cart full of stuff and someone behind me, they just have, a couple of things in their basket or their cart, whatever. I always ask the person behind me, hey, would you like to go ahead of me because you only have a few items? I was in the grocery store and this bitch who was behind me, I asked her kindly, hey, ma'am, since you only have a couple of things, would you like to go ahead of me? You know what this bitch told me? No, I get paid by the hour. I said, really? Yeah, I said, really? I didn't ask you that. I didn't ask you if you get paid by the hour. I asked you, would you like to go ahead of me since you only have a few things? And she just looked at me like I was an alien, like I was dumb. So you know what I did? There were more people behind her with less things. This is what I did. The people that was behind this rude woman, I asked them, hey, it was like maybe 3 or 4 of them behind her. So I said, hey guys, I have a cart full of stuff. You guys only have just a few things. Would you like to come ahead of me? Come on ahead of me. And they did. You know what she did? She got so upset. And this is what I told her. You may get paid by the hour, but I get paid for being nice. She didn't know what to do. So what she did was she went to another line. Good. You cannot be nice to these women. Stop trying to be nice to people. You just can't do it. You can bend over backwards for these women. They still don't appreciate anything. You can give them the shirt off of your back. They still don't appreciate it. You can go to the moon and back. They still don't appreciate it. What is wrong with you guys? I'm not talking about you guys as men. I'm talking about the women. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? I want to know what is wrong. I don't get it. You're just nasty. Just plain nasty, like the world owes you something. Just because you're having a bad day, that's not my damn fault. Is that my fault because you're having a bad day? We all have bad days. We all have bad days, but you know what? When I have a bad day, I don't take it out on anyone else because it's not their fault that I'm having a bad day. That's just stupid. It's dumb. It is so dumb. Another story I want to tell you about women. I'm telling you guys, I'm talking to my guys now about women and they're stupid and what they'll do to distract you. As I told you guys last time I go to the gym, I was in the gym, guy working out, minding his own business like they always do. These men are not paying any attention to you ladies. I don't care what you do. You can walk in there half naked. They don't care. They do not care. They don't see you. They don't want to see you, no matter what you do to try to make them see you. Guy working out, looking in the mirror at himself, working out, doing his thing, and I'm noticing everything. I'm just looking back and forth I'm always paying attention to my surroundings. Here come this little Miss see him working out. She's going to get right in front of him in the mirror and bend over and start doing things like she's exercising. And the guy still doing what he needs to do. So he stopped and he looked at her like, giving her a look like, what the F are you doing? And the way he looked at her, she was so embarrassed. Listen, women, just because you dress that way, all men don't want you. All men aren't dogs. Okay? When are you going to get that through your mind? That little tiny brain that you have, is it functioning yet? When is it going to function? These men don't want you. They're leaving here to get away from you. And like I said, when society collapses, who are you going to call? You're going to call Ghostbusters? You might as well, because they're not going to be there for you. You're so strong and independent. Do everything on your own. Maybe that'll teach you a lesson. That's what needs to happen. These men need to teach you a lesson. They're always teaching. They're already doing that anyway by letting you know they don't want you, but you don't get it. You're still trying to force yourself on these men. They do not want you. You're not good enough. Get that through your Peasley little brains, your pea brain. They don't want you. There's more to life. There's more to things than just your body, your pretty face. It's the inside that matters. Pretty on the outside, but you're ugly as on the inside. Just terrible. It's the inside that counts. It's the inside. And I keep saying that, but you're not hearing me. I don't expect you to hear me, but I'm telling you this today. I'm sick of the rudeness. If I'm sick of you women being stupid, ignorant, when someone's trying to be nice to you, you've been doing this to men for years. And I don't know what it is about when I walk into a place, you're just so snooty and snotty, snobby. Don't want to say hello. Don't want no one looking better than you. You're not looking good anyway. Only on the outside, but you're terrible then you know what on the inside. I always smile wherever I go, no matter what's going on in my day. I leave it at the door. I do not bring that into another place where people are. That's not good. Learn some damn manners. Learn some sense. So that's what I wanted to say. I'm pretty heated right now, guys, because I'm tired. You think you're tired of women, modern women? I'm sick of them as well. I am sick and tired of you all. I'm tired of it. That attitude has got to go. Because if it doesn't, if you come at me a certain way, I'm going to come right back at you. And that's what men are doing. They're coming at you like you come at them. You don't come at a man. You talk to him properly with respect. You're so disrespectful. You even disrespect the elderly people. Even the elderly people that are in grocery stores or coming to certain establishments. You act like you're so impatient, but you know what? You're going to get there one day too. And the way you treated those older people, you're going to get treated the same exact way. Everything you put out in the universe is going to come right back and slap you right in the face. You put bad out, you're going to get bad back. You put good out, you're going to get good back. But you don't understand that. So that's what I want to say, guys. I'm getting off of here because I'm getting a headache.
You said, what are you bringing to the table?
Yes. What do most women bring to the table?
Men are tired. I'm not bringing nothing to the table, baby. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Nothing? Well, then that means that one actually has nothing to offer a relationship.
You want a woman to bring something to the table? Go to IHOP.
And I'm sure many men would actually prefer that as opposed to having to deal with women who actually bring nothing to the table outside of their outward appearance.
Go to the restaurant where you can tip her, baby. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
And women listening to this type of advice obviously need some tips.
Because if I bring something to the table, you're going to be mad because it's going to be another man.
A man who obviously doesn't expect much out of their partner.
Who's going to not ask me to bring something to the table. He's going to take care of the bill, them kids, and everybody else. And you, if you look broke. Okay? Sprinkle, sprinkle. That's how I roll.
Yes. How to roll right into a relationship that doesn't actually have a decent foundation, relying only on one person's looks and another person's money.
You sprinkle, sprinkle.
Will come on social media and they'll say, I want a girl who never had a hoe phase. I want a girl who's never been a hoe.
So some guys are expressing their stricter standards. What exactly is wrong with that?
Meanwhile, that man is following bikini models, lingerie models, a bunch of half-naked women on social media.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Newsflash. Most men are visually motivated. This shouldn't come as a surprise.
If that's your following list, if that's what you're looking at on social media or on the internet, if that's your search history, you are in your hoe phase. That is hoe behavior.
Yes, we have arrived at that point where looking at attractive people now means that a person is in their hoe phase. Remember, ladies, this is true of you too.
Don't come on here blasting out your preferences for a woman. You're not husband material. You can't make a guy that's got a nasty search history a husband.
Heard it here first. A person is no longer marriage material if they enjoy looking at attractive people on the internet. I really hope none of these women follow any attractive men.
You're not husband material, so clean that up. Figure that out. Look within. Figure out why you're looking at naked woman after naked woman. Bikini model after bikini model. Look deep within and figure out what's going on there. That's tacky behavior. Yeah, so figure that out before you even come on here saying what you're looking for in a wife and a girlfriend. You got some stuff to work out first.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Frankly, it would have just been easier to admit that one can't meet a man's standards in regards to what he looks for in a partner than trying to shame them for looking at women in bikinis.
Men have no courage.
Oh? Do tell.
It was something men used to pride themselves in. It was lumped into chivalry, part of being a man.
Anyone willing to bet this is about modern dating?
Now you don't even have the courage to go talk to a girl?
Ooh, it's fun to be right.
None of you are approaching women.
Why should they? There's countless videos out there of women telling men to leave them alone, and men are actually listening. And now some seem upset about that.
None of you seem confident.
How could they possibly be confident? What is considered to be the bare minimum and the requirements that some women have for dating keep shifting on a daily basis, from the unreasonable to the outlandish.
And coming from a girl, I swear to you, all it takes is a little bit of courage to stand out. Yes, the gym is going to help. Yes, fashion is going to help. Yes, you need to be a good man. But none of that is going to matter if you're not willing to put yourself out there.
The biggest thing that one isn't taking into account here is that a lot of men are just tired of all the games. They would actually just prefer the peace of being single.
Are you going to fail on many approaches? Absolutely. But who cares? I know it hurts, but what else are you going to do?
They're going to sit happily at home not having to worry about if they're tall enough, if they make enough money, or most importantly, who's cheating on them.
So much more control over your own destiny here. I'm too short, I'm too poor, modern women aren't worth it, feminism ruined everything, are just a bunch of lame-ass, cop-out excuses.
But are they? All this is really telling me is that ultimately, a lot of women really don't understand most men, and it shows.
Where are the men saying, wow, that's so impactful?
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Let me guess. A lot of women were expecting men, when they heard about the man versus bear thing, just to come running and to say,
that makes me feel so bad.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
What can we do about it? How can we help? We want you to feel safe.
But they didn't, did they?
Who are those guys?
Where are those guys? Really? Had to ask that question as if the answer wasn't abundantly clear. They are leaving women alone, as they have been asked to do over and over again by a large amount of women. Why should they even bother trying to defend themselves when they've already been prejudged by so many women in society as being inherently dangerous? What would be the point of defending themselves when there are so many deaf ears that those words would fall upon? It really would be an exercise in futility. But yet, some women seem to think that men should just be begging for forgiveness and begging them to be accepted. A lot of men have too much pride and self-worth to beg women to change their minds.
Men are so jealous of women, especially beautiful women.
Oh,
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
why would that be?
Of all of that anger and all of that jealousy is the patriarchy.
Of course. Everything comes down eventually to the patriarchy, doesn't it?
The reality is that men are expected to wake up early every single day and go to work and
sprinkle,
get a paycheck and pay for bills, not only for themselves, but for their wives, their girlfriends, any future kids they might have.
Sprinkle.
What time period is one currently living in? Because the last time that I checked, women are actually expected to get up and go to work too.
They have to do hard manual labor or work their way up a corporate ladder, but women don't have to do that.
Silly me and a lot of other women. We're getting up in the morning for no reason, apparently.
And it makes y'all so upset that girls like me or other beautiful girls can capitalize off of our looks and make an amazing living.
I get it. It's those of us that aren't as conventionally attractive as others that have to go to work. Is that it?
And I'm not saying at all that just because a girl is pretty, she doesn't have to work hard or she isn't a hard worker. If anything, you kind of have to work a little bit harder to get over the bias of being pretty.
I'm not even going to touch that.
But there's no denying that there are so many life advantages to being attractive. This goes for men and women, but for whatever reason, it makes men so upset. The fact that I make the money that I do and I have the lifestyle that I have because of my looks and what I post on social media really upsets y'all. Because y'all wish y'all had it this easy and y'all don't, so you're angry.
No, that's not it at all. It's not how someone looks that tends to upset people. It's the entitled attitude that a lot of individuals that are very attractive seem to have because they do seem entitled to a great many things that they are actually not.
Woman, I'm going to tell you what we are not attracted to.
Sprinkle.
Oh, good. Another one speaking for all women in regards to what they are not attracted to. So let's hear this list.
My number one thing has to be when a man acts feminine.
And in what ways, in one's opinion, does a man act feminine?
And here's a few examples of that. 1, if you think that you deserve princess treatment as a man, goodbye. Please take the next bus stop the fuck away from me.
I guess we're throwing equal treatment out the window.
So, like most women, I commonly post my Insta post to my Insta story.
Most women do that? Okay.
You see that and you're viewing my Insta story, not liking my posts. Goodbye, get away from me. That gives me just such an ick. I'm like, oh no, ew, you're acting like a girl.
That's a rather specific ick that one thinks that all women seem to have.
If a man asks to go 50-50 for anything, leave.
And here I thought women were independent and could stand on their own 2 feet. Guess not.
If a man can't text you good morning, you're gone.
Ironically, some women find that good morning text to be an ick, so I can imagine that there's a lot of confusion out there.
If a man tries to make you jealous and bring up other girls, literally just disgusting.
Well, that's fair.
I would rather be friends with them than you. And I say friends because no men in this generation can commit and they think situationships are the new normal. Also, I would never in my life be in a situationship. I just would leave. Because those men, ick, goodbye.
Sounds like someone's been choosing the exact same type of men and expecting a different result every time. Perhaps improve one's selection.
And that expect you to call and or text them first. Feminine, goodbye.
So wanting a woman to show initiative is now considered to be feminine. Okay.
My own friends treat me better, sir. But yeah, I think a lot of women in this generation are starting to realize we don't need men, they actually need us. And yeah, so don't be afraid to walk away, ladies.
Is anyone else noticing that a lot of these women that are saying they don't need men are the ones that are talking the loudest when they don't happen to have one? Interesting.
Sounds crazy, but trans women can produce milk
to sprinkle.
Feed a baby. Here's how. Step 1, you must grow your coconuts. After about 3 to 5 years of estrogen, you will have fully functional milk ducts from which you can feed a baby. So once your coconuts are grown, it is time to start producing milk. Now, normally getting pregnant would trigger milk production, but since trans women can't get pregnant,
they said it.
We must do it another way.
And how exactly is that accomplished?
Turns out this is not all that difficult to do. Just add a few extra hormones and supplements and pump your coconuts regularly, and you will start producing milk. Now, I can already see the criticisms, the comments coming through. There's no way this milk is safe to drink or nutritious or healthy. but it is scientifically proven to be. The one caveat is that a trans woman might not be able to produce enough milk to feed the baby, but what is produced is healthy and can always be supplemented with formula. Ultimately, the act of feeding your child yourself is affirming to anyone, not just trans people. It also helps the child form a secure attachment to their parent. And for the record, I have no interest in having kids or producing milk. I just think it's cool that you can do this in the first place.
Well, wasn't that interesting and educational? I wonder how many feminists are going to jump on this bandwagon, supporting all women.
Things all white people fear.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Who's ready to find out what an entire group of people solely based on the color of their skin all happen to fear?
For one, black people.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Admittedly, I'm not even surprised to hear this at this point, but let's hear the reasons as to why.
I never really understood how this even works. Yes, we are more athletic. Yes, we are more superior when it comes to strength, speed, whatever the fuck you want to think of.
Would one be able to cite the sources that one used to get that information? Because I'm quite curious to read it, as I would really like to see where it actually says that any group of people, by virtue of what their skin color happens to be, is superior in any way to any other group of people.
Well, why the fuck does that strike fear in your heart? Especially when white people will do the most dangerous shit. White people will wrestle a bear, swim with whales and sharks, do a backflip off a skyscraper, and will even kiss a lion on the lips. But if a white person sees a black person or a church's chicken, they're gonna turn the fuck around.
All people with that particular skin tone do that, do they? Oh dear.
Number 2, the N-word. See, the N-word to white people is like a love-hate situation. They love to say it when they're with their friends. They love to say it when they're listening to rap music in the car. They don't even like rap music. They just listen to it so they have an excuse to say the word. But it's funny how a white person will get mad if they hear a black person say the N-word. Motherfucker, I'm black. I can say it if I want to. I can say it, the Hispanics can say it, you can't say it. The Asians can say it too, because they'll never get close enough for us to hear it. And
what?
Number 3, racist allegations. So white people, racist allegations means the death penalty.
No. Considering that accusation and word is thrown around so often, it's almost completely lost its real meaning.
And racist allegations are unbeatable. Once a white person is labeled racist, they feel as though the world is over. They cry, they beg for forgiveness, they even plot on moving out the city.
Oh, so that's the reason that a lot of individuals keep calling all white people racist? Is because they're hoping that they'll just go away? You really believe that? Okay.
But it only lasts for 1 fucking hour. Then we all forget and they stop giving a fuck and they go right back to blasting Chief Keef in their car and sing their fucking heart out and don't miss not one word, especially the ones that start with N.
I really hope this entire video was just satire, because it's almost too much to believe that any individual could be so uninformed and think that it's okay just to generalize people by virtue of what their skin color happens to be. But it really shouldn't surprise me if it's not satire, because, well, disparaging on white people is popular now, isn't it?
Never accept a coffee date for a first date.
All right, let's hear this one.
Perhaps it sounds convenient to you because you don't need to spend the whole evening with a stranger you may not like.
And despite the fact that that's a perfectly valid reason to go on a coffee date, let's hear why that apparently is not acceptable.
But a guy who just invites you for coffee shows such low effort, it almost shows as if he's not interested in getting to know you.
Based on what?
If he says, let that girl prove herself first before I'm willing to take her out for dinner.
Perish the thought. Because, you know, that actually almost makes sense. And we wouldn't want to do anything that makes sense, now would we?
Let me tell you what this says about you. If you accept a coffee date, that actually shows that you accept the bare minimum. And that shows how you see yourself. Because if you don't see yourself as being worthy of something more than just a coffee, how can he be convinced?
Oh, I don't know. Possibly engage in conversation and get to know each other over coffee. It's almost like that's the entire purpose, but one actually goes on to mention the purpose of dating.
The purpose of dating is to meet new people and maybe to meet a potential boyfriend while having fun. But a coffee date doesn't sound like fun. It sounds more like a job.
To you?
I'll go sit there for half an hour, see if he's worth it, see if I like him, and then we're talking. And then it's the coffee date that becomes a waste of time, because how much can you get to know somebody in half an hour to an hour?
Well enough to know if they actually want to go on a second date, I'd imagine, if they actually engage in productive conversation.
All right, so this will be a little chilly. Sounds
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
That's great. What makes Ari's situation unique is that Ari lives as a man, and he's pregnant. My main concerns have to do with just making sure that they have a discrimination-free experience.
The best thing a man can ask you on a date is, what do you bring to the table? Because two things straight away.
Excellent. And what are those two things?
If you want a masculine man and his masculine energy, he is not one. He has told you straight away that relationship cannot happen. Finished. Done.
By asking what a woman brings to the table. Wow, it's almost as if someone doesn't understand the entire purpose of dating. Because throughout the process of dating, that man will find out exactly what that woman brings to the table. But go on.
The second thing is, that man is so deep in his feminine energy that you could probably sit down, have a date with him, and learn from him how to be in it.
And why exactly is that?
Because even the concept of sitting down and thinking, what can this person do for me and what do they bring to the table, is so in his receiving energy. The fact that he's even sitting there and having the audacity to say that is so deeply, like, I mean, I'm not even sure me and you can get that feminine, is so deeply in there that we got a lot to learn from this guy.
Charming. Just a thought, but the only people that worry about being asked what they bring to the table are those that don't have anything to bring to the table.
And we were just talking about how men never approach women.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Is this seriously coming as a surprise? And no, it's not for the following reasons about to be mentioned.
And I get it, it's nerve-wracking, it's uncomfortable, it could be like severe rejection, all these things, but...
But what?
It's frustrating when it feels like women have to do all of the work.
Oh yes, how terrible. It must be absolutely awful to have to put forth some effort into actually approaching someone that a person might be interested in. I can see why some women are complaining, because traditionally, men did all that work.
And we were sitting there observing, and there was only one girl that was really talking to a few men, and every single time she was approaching them.
Wait, I thought that's what some women wanted. It's almost like I have to keep repeating myself here. It seems that some women only want equality, only when it benefits them, but when it comes to actually getting something that they want, some women just expect it to come to them.
So what is it? Like, what do women need to do to be approachable?
Oh, that's such a good question. But I really don't think that a lot of women, at least some women, are ready to quite hear the answer to that one.
Men want attention and will do anything to get it, just like a child.
Let's correct that statement, okay? Some people will do anything for attention and do anything to get it.
They will be good to get attention and they will be bad to get attention.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
It's almost like that's part of human behavior.
Stop answering to men when they make childish or pandering or accusatory statements.
Does one mean like this one?
Responding to someone who has interrupted a conversation that they aren't even invited to is like saying it's okay that they're there.
Well, that's nice, but I'm definitely interrupting this conversation.
Ignore, delete, block, whatever you have to do to not trigger a cortisol or endocrine or any kind of response in your body. It's about you.
Now there's a radical change in priorities. Everything is about the individual and their feelings.
The less that you acknowledge that it's happening, the more that it becomes background noise and the more that it literally just doesn't even exist anymore.
But yet, here's a post about it.
But for women to recenter and heal and decenter men and not consider them to be a part of blah, 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 to not consider them, they aren't invited to this piece of ourselves that is working on ourselves, that is working on us being the center.
Yet, ironically, one is still centering men in this conversation.
And no amount of good behavior or bad behavior or tantrum throwing or gesturing is going to get precedence over me and my well-being. Once I'm centered in that space, I'm willing and able to listen to anybody.
Just a thought here, but perhaps the best way to get others to listen to what one actually has to say would not be to start out generalizing a group of people just for the sake of grabbing their attention, and then perhaps one's words might actually carry more weight.
Whatever she does.
Since when? That statement actually flies in the face of everything that's known about science and biology. My goodness. Did one skip over the part in biology where it takes a sperm and an egg to make life? Women don't spontaneously create life.
Because it's her body, not,
sprinkle.
Not the man's.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Deal with it.
I will deal quite well with the fact that one doesn't understand basic biology.
Cry about it.
The only thing to cry about here is the obvious failure of the American education system.
And then go write in your diary about it. Maybe, if you're that upset still. And then maybe go pray about it, because that won't do shit.
Oh dear. Now, I'm not a religious person, but I absolutely believe in the right of people to be able to practice their religion, as long as it's not hurting anyone. Now, the ironic part is a person making disparaging remarks about someone who decides to possibly practice their religion and pray about something, while at the same time arguing that something is actually a right while downplaying and disparaging the rights of others.
Low-class men, you know which ones I'm talking about, often prefer women with BBL and the ones that are on the curvy side.
I wonder how well this particular take will go over.
Comparing to wealthy, classy European or American men who often prefer taller women who are naturally fit and slim.
Oh dear.
The broke men, low-class men, or the ones with black mindset often will go for curvy women with BBL or boob job, and I think that's just because they do not have enough resources. They do not have a lot for themselves, so they just want to show off to another low-class, middle-class man.
I'm really wondering. One had enough time to record this, review it, and still decided to post it, thinking that it would be a good idea. Right.
Those wealthy, classy, upper society men, and I'm speaking about European men specifically, will often go for taller, slimmer women. And those type of men will value their education, their background, and how well they can navigate upper society. I think upper society men often go for this type of men just because of how well they look next to them.
Anybody trying to date me, my bills or your bills? So
And here we have another individual who has confused the rules of dating with the rules of marriage.
I don't care whose car it is. You're trying to date me. You're trying to take a load off of me.
Exactly when did dating come to mean taking the load off of someone financially? And here I thought dating was just about getting to know someone. When did that definition change?
So my car is your car. You cover the bills. I don't.
No, that's not what that means. If a person is just dating, no. Their property is still their property, and their responsibilities are still only theirs. It's not the other person's responsibility to financially take care of that person.
Simple. You're trying to date me, so my bills are your bills. Period.
But the simplest thing of all is that individuals with this particular thought process aren't going to end up being the most unhappy, because the individuals that they find that are actually willing to support them financially just when they're dating and not when they're married are going to be the ones that they're the most unhappy with, because they have the lowest levels of self-esteem and self-worth. And they're going to find themselves wondering, where are all the real men at? Well, the real men are the ones that won't put up with this type of behavior.
Like, okay, so if you don't partake in hookup culture, for example, for
But
me,
you have the capacity to, is the difference.
I feel like everyone has the capacity to. Do women have a more potential to do so? Yes.
No, but here's my position. So the vast majority of men don't even have the capacity to participate in hookup culture.
But that's
I don't
only
agree with that.
because they are picky. If they
No.
absolutely wanted to be sluts, there are women, you call them bottom of the barrel, whatever, that they could be hooking up with. They just choose not to.
But for the
I
sake
feel
of
like
argument, if women date up, they're not going for those men.
Yeah.
But I would argue that women who are, say, average looking can be sluts, and they could exclusively choose men that are more attractive than they are.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that.
So you're saying, so again, I mean, even if I were to concede that while men can be sluts so long as they date like 3, 4, 5 points below them in looks, and even then I would argue, still, not really. But women still have the capacity to like procure sex from men who are way more attractive than they are.
I agree with that completely. I think women have it on easy mode when it comes to hookups or maybe likes on a dating app or right swipes, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But as far as actually finding a long-term relationship, I think it's equally hard for men
Disagree.
and women.
Totally disagree.
Why?
No, because I think a lot of men just want to hook up with women and they're not interested in long-term commitment.
Okay, let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys currently have any guys in the friend zone? Do you have any guys in the friend zone? Would he be prepared to be in a relationship with you?
Well, most of my friend zone guys are in relationships.
What?
But
like, what about when
I friend
you put
zoned them prior to the relationship.
Yeah, but okay, so.
And they're now in relationships.
Could at the time.
But Malik, he's asking if there's any men you know of who have a romantic interest in you that you do not reciprocate, who are your friends.
Yes.
Okay, so most men don't just have a handful or even dozens of men in the pocket that, Becky, I could be in a relationship with. Most men never have women in the pocket like that, whereas most women will have at least one dude who they could get into a relationship with at any given time.
Because usually those women have moved on too. Like if they're in your back pocket, usually when you come back to them, they've probably moved on.
Yeah. Well, I think the reason for that is men typically, to the argument of men and women can't be friends, I think women are more than capable of being friends with men with no romantic interest, but I don't think men are really capable of being friends with women that they don't find attractive or see a benefit in the friendship in the future. So that's why a lot of men will have a lot of woman friends, and maybe sometimes they do end up in the friend zone, but women generally will be friends with multiple people regardless of if they see romantic potential.
She sleeps with a fruit fly manifestation in her kitchen and a pile of garbage beside her bed? No dick! If she tries to make a mockery of you because you like to be the little spoon sometimes, tell her no Willie the one-eyed wonder wiener. Sometimes it's your turn to fart into her crotch. If the shower/bathtub is always getting clogged up with her hair, but she expects you to unclog it? No, Dick. That is a disgusting job. You and I know it. It's okay. If she hits you in front of your friends, or just hits you at all, absolutely no Willie the One-Eyed Wonder Wiener. That is abuse. Now you listen here and you listen well. If you guys have been together for months and she still hasn't taken you out on a date, no dick. The rest of your guys' relationship is gonna look like you doing stuff for her. No dick. If she's made attempts to stalk you through your friends, like when y'all are hanging out, and she doesn't believe that you're not sucking off the waitress, yeah, absolutely no Count Schlongula. That's toxic, and it's stalking, and it's controlling. No dick. She treats her parents like shit. No dick. If every single one of your friends hates your girlfriend, that's a great sign that something's wrong. Maybe you should not be giving her your couch schlongula. Run. She tells you that your dreams are dumb and stupid? No dick! You're always giving her morning head, and she never, ever gives it back? No dick! Rule number 3. Thou shalt not give no trouser snake to a woman who obsesses on going through your phone. Let me show you what I mean. Johnny, let me go through your phone. Becky, this is the 4th time today. No. I'm sorry, you said what? Huh? What? Guy who has something to hide, say what? Huh? Oh my god, okay, fine, here. No! Don't be a tallywhanker. Absolutely no dick. You have the right to your own damn privacy. Trust and believe that. Now you listen here, and you listen well. Thou shalt give no schlong to a woman who only reaches out to you when she needs something. But when you need something, she's never there. Let me show you what I mean. I'm hungry and lazy. I'm gonna text Josh. Hi, Joshy. I'm really hungry. Can you please bring me some chicken nuggets? How much do you want to bet she's not texting to check up on me? She's just hungry. Hi, Joshy. I'm really hungry. Can you please bring me some chicken nuggets? That's what I thought. Now, what about when you need her? Does the scenario play out like this? Man, I really need someone to talk to. I think I'm just gonna text her. Hey, babe. I really miss you. Just feeling down. I need someone to talk to. I know, like his dick was just so small. Oh, hold on a sec, ladies. It's Josh. He says he needs to talk and he's feeling down right now. LOL! Oh my god, please don't tell me you're crying right now. Listen, I don't have to tell you. I know you know that men are expected to shut up about their own problems but be there for everyone else's. But this is 2021, alright? You have feelings, you have emotions, and don't be ashamed of them. And fuck anybody else that's gonna tell you to man up or make fun of you for them. No freaking dick! Facts. Thou shalt give no schlong to a woman who uses silent treatment as punishment. Josh? Oh my god, Becky, I'm shitting. Yeah, and I'm about to shit on you. Did you just finish the rest of my ice cream? Are you talking about the Haagen-Dazs? Are you talking about the Haagen? Yes, I'm talking about the Haagen-Dazs. Josh, I bought the Haagen-Dazs. You bought the Haagen-Dazs for me. Have a good shit. I'm not talking to your ass for the rest of the day. Okay. Does she think that's a punishment? What'd you say? Huh? Nothing, sweetie. She really sucks at this silent treatment. You don't deserve that shit, okay? You deserve to have a peaceful shit in the morning. Okay, so if it's like that, no dick. This one is a little bit more serious, although yes, it is common. If you have a woman who every time you try to leave her, she threatens suicide, no dick. Now what do? Because this can be a tough situation to be in. You hold your boundaries, you hold your ground, and you say if you are at risk for attempting to harm yourself, okay, I'm gonna call the EMS on you. And then that's what you do. Thou shalt not put their Willie the One-Eyed Wonder Wiener inside a woman that is constantly out partying and calling you at 3 a.m. hammered as shit.
You said you have special connections with people in your life. How many special connections do you have currently?
Maybe like, it's really hard to actually answer that question because, you know, people come and go and I just graduated. So people have like come into my life and left my life. So I couldn't really give you a solid number on that.
Yeah, I'll try to make it a little easier. So you said you just graduated and then maybe other people are back home during the summertime. If we just rewind 4 months ago, so that brings us to April, let's say April, prior to UCSB letting out. How many special connections did you have then?
I was exclusive with one person at that time.
Was that the 8-month guy?
No.
Okay. How long were you exclusive with the guy back in April?
4 months.
4 months. When did that end? In May?
In April.
Okay, let me fast forward 1 month. So let's go to May. How many special connections did you have then?
I wasn't counting, but like special connections is in, I just don't define it in like love is complicated for me, man. I don't want to answer that question.
Well,
yeah, I'm really confused as to what a special connection is.
Right. I don't mind that you're confused. I don't think that's the question I want to answer.
Well, it's kind of like that's the purpose of the show, is to talk about people's
Actually, no, you're right. You're right.
Relationship situations. Are you currently like dating a couple people right now?
No.
Do you have a special connection with anybody right now?
Yes.
Okay.
So do you
yes,
take issue
but we're
with?
not dating.
Well, so you take issue with the term dating. To you, dating would that imply what?
I think it's because actually people who I develop a relationship with tend to be my friends first for a long time. So that's why it kind of complicates it. Because even if something happens between us or we have a romantic connection, they are still my friend first. At least in my perspective on it. Mm-hmm. I prioritize our friendship before anything else, so it doesn't feel like it's a Ross.
When a guy is putting their blinker on, I just feel like that's such a feminine thing to do. Like,
What is with women and their obsession with like unsafe practices around cars? You want men to get smoked by cars fast. You want them to like be unsafe and put their own lives and everybody else's lives around them by refusing to put on their blinkers, because why? Becky down the block might get like turned off, might think it's icky. Like, why? Where do you even come up with this shit? I swear I just felt my brain cells die. I felt it.
My biggest icks with men is when they like wake up and they're confused. Like, what? Like, that's womanly. You know, like, you should wake up knowing exactly where you're at.
Wait a minute. So can we just talk about the misogyny? Only women can be confused and only women wake up not knowing where they are. Like, what are you talking about? You said, like, what? Can we dissect that for a minute? Do you women actually believe the stuff you're saying? Or are you just coming on here like flapping your dick suckers and just seeing what sticks? I think it's probably more that.
If a guy
types in lowercase. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Come on.
Come on. It is strange. It's because typing. I mean, if a guy types in lowercase, like, why are you trying to be feminine?
Dear gentlemen, if you type in what, like, you want to get screamed at the whole time? You want him to type in all caps? Good morning. I love you. I hope you ate today. I saw your story. You look so good. Like, what are you talking about in lowercase? You know, like, they're just pulling the shit out of their ass. Speaking of ass, I'm sure she's used to pulling things out of her ass because she's a fucking OnlyFans model sitting on the Whatever podcast calling men feminine for typing in lowercase. I mean, that wasn't on my bingo card. OnlyFans models telling people how to be better, that's gotta be the most, like, cringy and funniest ironic thing I've ever heard.
What's your biggest ick in a guy?
Like when they... No, okay.
Say it. Say it.
No.
Run it.
That was so mean. I was gonna say if they're like really nice, it's such an ick.
Yeah, I want a guy to wake me up in the morning by saying, "Hey, bitch, next time we're fucking, I'm gonna tell you to open your mouth and I'm gonna spit on your forehead." Like, what the fuck? Wait a minute. I had a really awful time meeting your mom. She looks like a whore and I can see where you get your giant nose from. Like, what? How do you want men to react and talk to women? You know what I mean? Like, I hear men say that women want assholes and I get confused because I'm like, I know as a woman, I don't want an asshole, but I do want a man who can stand up for himself for sure. Like, because as a woman, I'm not going to sit here and put him knowingly in situations where he's going to have to fight or he's going to have to defend himself. Like, that's my job as a woman to, like, not do that to a man, but it's sure nice to know that, like, he can stand up for himself. So for me, when I say, like, oh, we like assholes, I don't really classify it as an asshole rather than somebody that's just, like, you know, very very dominant and just knows what they want and how to get it. Then I see women like this who are literally like, treat me like shit, degrade me. I like it if you are nice to me at all. I no longer want you. I no longer love you. You're a pussy. You're a simp. Like, what are men supposed to do? This is why I'm not mad at the men going their own way era, like that movement, because, like, this is men really just, like, prioritizing their mental health over, like, oh, I don't know, over women, you know? Sometimes you got to make sacrifices sometimes. Anyways, let's keep going.
There is nothing more icky than watching a guy walk out of Starbucks with a Frappuccino in his hand, like, sipping on his green straw. Oh my god.
What do you want him to do? Throw the cup, like, open the lid and fucking just dip it upside down like he's testing a Dairy Queen fucking ice cream cone? Just dip it upside down, all in the mouth, you know? That's the sound of the entire thing going in. How are you supposed to enjoy a Frappuccino elsewhere, you know? Like, what do you want him to do? Just start, like, tongue fucking it? I don't know. What do you want? Yeah, so this guy, he has, like, his whole page is full of all these videos, you know, of, like, taking videos of their men licking ice cream cones, tiptoeing on rocks on the beach and saying that it's icky. I saw one where this guy's earlobes were flapping in the wind and she's like, that's disgusting, that's an ick, you know? So I couldn't even imagine if there was a trend where men were just filming women minding their own fucking business and blasting it on the internet, criticizing them. Like, women would have a field day. It would be the end of the world. There would be a ban on cell phone cameras filming in public, you know, like, there would be some serious fucking consequences. It should be, like, absurd. It would be an uproar. And it is absurd, you know? Like, these men are just living their fucking lives. Like, no wonder men are just, like, not wanting to date. No wonder they're not using any dick discipline, because the moment that they stop fucking, like, I think they start to realize that these women just, like, aren't worth talking to, you know? So a lot of them are, like, out there boning and, like, sticking their dick in everybody, hoping that they're gonna find a girl that, like, you know, whose vagina feels good but also feels good for his soul, and he's not gonna fucking find it because the majority of these women are just, like, fucking vile, bro. Like, vile, feral and vile.
Was unfaithful.
So you were married to your husband, but you were having children with other men.
I was, and he raised them as his own and knew them to be his own until the divorce. He ended up unhoused, And the first man that I had the affair with is now my boyfriend, the father of my first child, my son. And he was my husband's assistant manager. So he started bringing this guy around, and I made the first move, of course. I feel like I just sensed his kindness. I mean, still to this day, this man that I'm with is the kindest, most patient man I've ever met. But one day he came over my house without my ex-husband there, and you know what happened next. And we only saw each other once a week to do this because of how my schedule, my ex-husband's schedule, and his schedule. But the second affair, the man is the father of my daughter, he actually worked with me this time. He was my maintenance guy at my leasing job. Again, just another kind man who was nice to me. And then with my daughter. So yeah, it's been wild.
What's so heinous and disgusting about
It's like my way. And here we are, with 3 baby daddies and 2 kids. So yeah, it's been wild.
What's so heinous and disgusting about Ronald McDonald's distant cousin here isn't not just that she didn't consider the father, but she didn't consider her children as well and how that would affect their lives. She also doesn't consider the fact that what she did is paternity fraud. It's illegal. And it's actually like a human rights violation that fathers don't have automatic paternity tests given to them at the hospital or time of birth. Women have over 6 forms of contraception, 6 different ways to get out of having a baby, including a safe haven law, which protects them if they carry a baby through a pregnancy, give them to a stranger, a mental health services person, a firefighter. It protects them. Women can do that, but men, they have no choice, and the courts justify that by saying that a child deserves to be looked after and provided for by their father. So, maybe we should take that a step further and give them the right to know who their real daddy is, considering we always say men cheat, but 90% of the fathers on Maury were not the real daddy, were they? We force a lot of men into being dads. They don't get a say. And then when it finds out that that's not their kid, we say, well, what, you don't love this child? What? That's like if society as a whole just decided, men, when you're in a relationship, get a puppy, bring it home to your girlfriend, don't discuss it with her because she'll be an evil wench for not loving it anyways.
Video is unequivocally for men only. I don't want to see one woman watching this video. Gentlemen, I believe that I have cracked the bitch. Why are you still here? Excuse me. Get out. I accidentally cracked the code at how the majority of women nowadays apologize to their men. And gentlemen, if your woman has ever apologized to you like this, you better be already gone by the time I'm finished saying give her absolutely no dick. I go over to a friend's house and him and his girlfriend had just been freshly finishing up an awkward couple argument, right? And believe it or not, considering my whole career is sticking my big honker in other people's business, I actually in my personal life tend to mind my own business. So they're finishing up something awkward. I came at a bad time, but I sit down, shut the fuck up, and I'm listening. And this guy apologizes to his girlfriend for whatever the fuck they're fussing about. And he said, babe, I know that this is an important conversation, but Chloe's here now. I don't want to make it awkward. I apologize for my part. I wasn't trying to come at you sideways. Let's talk about this later. I'm sitting there packing my bowl, still minding my own business, but I'm overhearing this, and I just automatically expect her to come back with him as, all right, babe, no problem. You know, I'm sorry too. You know, the typical mature thing. And she comes at him with this, and this was the moment that I realized that just about every single narcissistic, full of myself, I sell my butthole on OnlyFans for $3.99, but think that I have so much fucking standards, every single one of them apologized like this. This is what she said. I wouldn't want to make it awkward for Chloe either, babe, but for the record, I felt awkward when you didn't have the kahunas to come at me properly during that conversation, okay? You've pissed me off. We're not talking about this again. You knew what you were getting yourself into. If you expect to have a decent conversation about this later, no, you fucked up. You'll be buying dinner and you'll be sleeping on the couch tonight. Hand to everything that I own. That is just about exactly what was said. And poor dude, he is literally sitting over there like, I was sitting there mid-toke, wasn't expecting any of that, so I'm over there like, not gonna lie, I was not expecting that. She storms back downstairs, I'm choking, he mumbles something along the lines of, sorry, that was awkward, came at a bad time. That's when I realized, in between my thought of, holy fuck, that was awkward, and holy shit, I don't want to be here, I realized how common it is for women to respond that way, because I've actually heard it many times. We even see examples of this on the Whatever podcast. These girls will come on spewing some like hateful, sexist shit, and Brian will check them and they'll come back to him with some shit like, no, I am the way I am, and I will find a man who is man enough to handle me. to put up with me. This type of behavior is so common. And then I realized that when we see men exhibit those types of toxic behaviors where they think that they are the center of the universe, we always correctly identify them as abusive, narcissistic even. But then I realized, because I have ADD and my brain works like a choo-choo train, it is so common for women to be in that headspace of like, we are the ones that matter, put us on a pedestal, and he's just not man enough to handle me, that I think we have literally trained women to just be narcissists.
I believe that we may have found another one.
Say I wanted to take you all on a first date. How much should I spend on it?
Their answer is probably going to surprise a lot of you.
Whatever you can afford on the date. Doesn't matter to me.
Of any expectations?
No, I just want you to be thoughtful with whatever you put together.
Excellent.
I'll pick you up. Let's get slushies at Sonic drive-thru.
Okay, that's fine. We have a conversation, we talk, we get to know each other. I'm fine with that.
It's almost like that's the purpose of a first date, isn't it?
We could watch Black Mirror on my phone and prop it up on the dashboard.
It's a memory, it's an experience. I'm fine with it.
Love it.
So why do so many women tend to want guys to drop the bag on them and, make it a big thing?
That's a very good question.
I don't know, I think that's what the industry promotes, social media, everything we watch promotes. But I don't know, I can't answer for them. I just know kind of what I've been taught, what I value, so it's kind of what my answer is.
What gave you that mentality?
I don't know, I think if you have these expectations of things you can't always control, then it just gives you more stress and anxiety. So why worry? Just kind of let it happen and see where it goes.
So gentlemen, be reassured, there are actually still women out there that don't expect you to drop a ton of money on the first date. They still exist.
What is wrong with men?
Eyes up here, gentlemen.
I just went on a first date. It was wonderful, it was beautiful, we had dinner, drinks, got along.
Okay, so what went wrong?
Tell me why this man at the end of the date goes, he walks me to my car and he goes, had such a wonderful evening with you. It was so great. Great to get to know you. Can I kiss you? Don't ever ask a girl, can I kiss you?
Oh dear.
That is an immediate ick.
So a guy asking permission to kiss you is an ick now? Okay.
Like, do you guys just not have balls anymore?
What? No, they're probably worried about possible charges.
Literally, you should have just gone and been like, I had a great date with you, we had great chemistry, and then gave me a nice little smooch on the lips, and then we called it a night.
Something that one isn't taking into consideration is that with the wrong person, that could go oh so wrong.
There is nothing more unattractive than a man asking if they can kiss you. Men, do better.
Seriously? I can honestly say I can see how so many men would be confused what with all of the mixed messages being put out there. On one hand, you have some women saying that they want men to ask permission before doing absolutely anything, and then there's videos like this. I guess, guys, you just can't win.
Yes, all men, at some point, are rapists.
Excuse me, I'm going to have to interrupt here for a second. What exactly led one to the conclusion that all men, all men, are what now?
Most definitely the grandfathers and the older men, the ones that, had 10 kids.
Oh, I can't wait to hear the explanation for this one.
You think Grandma wanted to just continually do that?
One is certainly making a lot of assumptions here, not the least of which is about Grandma.
And what you don't realize is coercion is grape.
Interesting. I do so wonder what they mean by coercion.
Every single man has done this to at least one woman in his life, that you sit there and go, oh, please come on. And she's like, no, not tonight. No, not tonight. I'm tired. I have a headache, I don't want to. And you continue to coerce her until she says okay, and then just rolls over and lets you do it. That is considered grape.
Because I'm curious, what exactly is the overall point of making this type of content? What is the ultimate end goal? Because it certainly doesn't seem to be helping anyone. And it's certainly not raising awareness. The only thing that it seems to be doing is spreading a personal narrative of dislike, very severe dislike, of men, by trying to say that they're all guilty of something, simply because one wants them to be. But that's not how reality works. So why continue doing this? I always enjoy being diagnosed by someone who received their psychology training obviously on social media, or else they wouldn't be using outdated terminology. But this comment right here took me to another video. And that video was something else. Let's take a look at it.
I just went down a huge rabbit hole. Oh my gosh, I had no idea that you had stitched so many of my videos and so many videos of like my mutuals and stuff.
Yes, I wasn't even going to make a video on this, but they did make an 8-minute and 43-second video, so I felt at least it was worth a little bit of my time to at least acknowledge the effort that they put in, making a video which goes into explaining their opinions about me, my content, and my followers. But I'll save everyone some time. But if you want to go watch the video, by all means. The final concluding statement is as follows.
Well, the story is it's super easy to make content like this because it's inflammatory in its own way. Like thinking that this content is a flex is not a flex. Like thinking that this content is like educational or actually like subverting some type of negative opinion, it's not. It's actually very easy to take almost any video on TikTok and say things like, all men, really? Like, it's super easy because you're not saying anything with your whole chest, you're not standing on any side, you're just like, oh, these people are out here generalizing. So you don't understand the nature of this platform, you don't understand like how a niche works on TikTok, you don't understand that some things are none of your business. Like she will not stay out of black women's business to save her goddamn life. She just doesn't know how to read a room, even a room that she exists in. She thinks that, all of this pandering is going to lead everybody to some magical, 50-50 universe where we all exist in a vacuum and everybody's issues are addressed fairly and there are no generalizations. And she herself, in multiple videos, has generalized women. Like, oh, it's women that say that and it's women that do this and that. She's not even beating her own allegations. Her content is literally made for people who have too few brain cells to understand a gray area. It's not enough gray matter to understand a gray area. That's what that content's for. Okay, I hope that helps. Don't listen to her. She's a pygmy.
So indeed, thanks for one's opinion, and I know exactly where to file it. Interesting. Now let's take a look at this. Maturing is realizing all men are the same, and women are just conditioned to deal with it. Now I have a quick question about that. Did the definition of maturing recently change, and nobody bothered to tell me? I guess that's entirely possible. The definitions of words are changing all the time, especially and specifically if it's to fit particular narratives. So in this case, how exactly is generalizing an entire group of people based on one characteristic considered to be a sign of maturity? Most individuals would actually say that that is the exact opposite of what constitutes maturity. So, I do have a question. How exactly are all men the same? I really cannot wait to hear the enlightened answers to that question.
You don't wear makeup? Why are you on this channel? You can't get no man. You don't wear makeup? Why are you on this channel? You can't get no man.
Spoken as though that's some kind of great life accomplishment.
Not one with money. Not big money. That's gonna tell you don't work no more.
Oh yes, because that's ultimately what it's all about, isn't it?
Put on some makeup. Go get you some makeup tutorials. If you like the natural look. But he don't. Men don't like the natural look. They like natural looking makeup, but they don't like the natural look. They might as well be looking at a man.
Oh? That's completely contrary to what a lot of men have actually been saying.
Okay, like, this is what I don't understand. Here's the part that I don't understand. And I love all my subscribers, because I made that video earlier. But why are you on any type of video like this if you don't even wear makeup?
I know this might be a foreign concept, but there are some women out there that aren't completely obsessed with their own appearance.
You think you're going to do some magic tricks to blind people and get them to accept you like as you are?
Wow. That's just sad.
Is this just a confidence booster to go out looking like you already look and that's not working for you? Because honestly, you can have all the confidence in the world, yes, but if you're not willing to do put in work, what's the point? It's not going to come off when you're surrounded by other women that's got on a full face of makeup, hair, heels, dresses and stuff and nails. You're going to feel weird. You're like, no one's looking at me, no one's paying attention to me, even though I'm confident. Yeah, because they actually put in the work.
Interesting. But confident women don't need to seek the validation of others. They can actually go out in public without makeup on and be fully confident. And if someone doesn't approve of them because they don't look absolutely 100% their best, then I guess that person isn't worth that individual's time.
How much an alpha man should cough up for a wedding ring?
An alpha?
How much an alpha man should cough up for a wedding ring?
An alpha man? Oh, I can't wait to hear how much an alpha man should spend on a wedding ring.
From my understanding, a guy should be spending 3 months' salary on a ring.
Traditionally, that has been customary. However, that is not at all required. A lot of women are very happy with rings that cost a lot less. However, I'm sure that there's more to this.
So if that isn't 6 figures, you probably shouldn't be getting married.
Holy classist mentality, Batman. To actually have the audacity to say that if a person doesn't make 6 figures in 3 months, then they have no business getting married. Is one not aware that the average American doesn't even make 6 figures in a year? I guess there's a lot of people, in one's opinion, that shouldn't be getting married. But there's more.
Like, if he's not spending that, does he really love you, or does he just want a hot trophy wife?
What? Now, how exactly did that make any sense? But moreover, it's my opinion that any woman that would expect a man to spend 6 figures on her wedding ring is not after the man himself for who he is. She's only after his money.
What happened to men pursuing girls?
Are we really asking this question?
When was the pivotal moment that a man chose to not go after a girl anymore or put in any effort?
I don't think there was a pivotal moment. However, there's been lots of little moments that have added up to a large awakening of a lot of men in regards to whether or not it's worth it to chase women.
Seems like guys can just put the bare minimum and not even really put in effort anymore. They don't really care to.
Well, what's considered to be the bare minimum seems to change on a daily basis, so how can anyone truly know what the bare minimum even is?
They're like, why don't girls just go and make the first move and make the effort?
That's an excellent question. Indeed. Why don't they?
Did it become a thing? Now it's like role reversal where they expect girls to be making the first moves, yearning for a guy and chasing him.
I imagine that happened somewhere around the same time that a lot of women were indicating to men that they want them to leave them alone. So, in a lot of cases, they got exactly what they asked for.
That is, I feel like, the downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone, because men don't put in effort anymore and don't care to put in effort.
But why should they? When the possible benefits of pursuing a woman are often far outweighed by the risks that they undertake in pursuing those same women. It's honestly just not worth it for a lot of men to pursue women, especially when so many women want to be seen as independent and left alone.